Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Good morning, everybody. Hey, I'm having problems with this line. Just got it to work. Hey, yesterday, what the heck happened? Apparently, like after we left, everything just fell apart. I mean, we had that trade. It was kind of going okay, and it eventually just kind of scratched it and started doing something else. And while I wasn't paying attention, market completely fell out of the market, only to completely reverse. I mean, we were down what, 5% on the NASDAQ at some point, which is really quite insane, especially when you consider that like there was not really any good reason for that. So it is wild, and I don't know if we're getting some of that again today. I might just kind of sit on the sidelines. I don't want to get involved in that until after the Federal Reserve meeting. So let's come over to the charts. I'll show you the damage. So you can see on the ES, whoosh, all the way down almost to 4,200 bounce, and pretty much unchanged on the day. Now in the overnight session, we are down just a tad, a little bit. Here you can see in the treasuries. Now, interestingly enough, after all that happened, then they sold the treasuries hard. So kind of that risk off kind of safety haven kind of trade came off really, really hard, which is what we were looking for most of the day. So it's kind of funny that it didn't happen until like the close. And here you can see in the overnight, now we're a little bit lower. So yields have been coming back just a tad. All right. Over here in oil has just been getting hammered by all this. It's pretty interesting to me. Now down in the 83, 84 area. I tell you what, I sure lucked out with when my options expired, didn't I? And then natural gas, Goldman Sachs warning that natural gas could double if there's like a crunch. So yeah, I'm gonna keep watching this, because if natural gas goes to $8, like that's gonna suck for people in Europe, right? Gold and silver still within a range, although I am seeing maybe this is pretty supportive still. So silver coming back a little bit, but again, I don't know if gold goes higher. I don't see why silver wouldn't. Copper struggling a little bit too. Here again, I think that we got to look beyond just like the panic. There does appear to be some evidence of a global slowdown coming around here. Bitcoin also bouncing with everything else. I tell you, Bitcoin is extremely correlated with the S&P 500 at this point, which is very interesting to me. But it also kind of suggests to me that the worst in Bitcoin could still be yet to come. I'm going to come back over here. So like the issue that I see with the cryptocurrency and this correlation is that at some point you come in and you say, okay, well, the stock market is not going into a recession. I don't know. I think that a recession is a possibility at this point. It really is. If inflation pressures continue to push and we have to continue raising rates, assuming that raising rates are even going to do anything to help with the inflation, that could push us into a recession. Absolutely. But you eventually you get into this point where stocks aren't in a recession or are no longer in a recession, but interest rates are still going to be higher. And I think that that's going to be pretty damaging to the cryptocurrency industry. So I think you got to keep an eye out on those. Bonds are pushing up here pretty hard. Well, it's actually not that hard. They actually got up there on relatively light volume, but they are making a bull push in the bonds right now. I think it's going to be really difficult to predict what it's going to do here. I think that we're going to get stuff all over the place. Well, over here, I think that I need to maybe close a couple of these windows that I don't use these. Well, actually, I got to keep that one open. I'll get rid of that one though. Because I have been having a little bit of trouble with my machine keeping up. So, well, I don't think that my processor CPU usage has been like maxing out, but it just seems like it's not handling the data. I think part of it is when it's going back and forth over here in the ES, and I've got like, now what are my settings? Let's check those. Let's check those settings. Make sure that I'm not doing anything. Yeah, I've got pretty. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Done. And check this one too. Oh, I have the ES one set to 10. The default is a lot lower than that, right? 120. Well, let's switch ES to that as well. 100. And over here we get 20. And that should, hopefully that alleviates things a little bit, yeah? All right. Now, let's see here. Do you think we'd have, seems like there was some news I wanted to talk about. I'm gonna come through here. Let's, oh, I'm a little disorganized this morning. I don't have all my windows where I want them and stuff. Look at that. All right, let's fix that. Yeah, so I'm really, it's going to be really interesting here to see how much volatility we get in the indexes. I mean, the treasury's low. Look at that. Two ticks real quick there. 3,000 contracts traded at 10. Somebody really wanted that. Somebody really wanted that. I mean, normally a trade like that could get them stuck there a little bit. And maybe they make another little push to 12 and then they come back there. Might be a good candidate for, you know, a liquidity hole, the way that they traded that. But over to all of the markets here just look incredibly active to me. Incredibly active. Yeah, this is, we're going to have another volatile open here in the ES, I think. Okay, so if that's what we're going to have, guys, don't do anything stupid, right? If you have the hot hand today, then push it. But as soon as it stops working, you quit, right? These are days that can very quickly turn into, you know, dismal days for you. It's half moon also. People don't give a shit about that stuff. Oh man. Did you see? Okay, so let's talk about this. Did you see this story out there? They did a study about how effective chartered financial analysts were, and they found that they were no better at investing than other people. It was like experience was the most useful thing for fund managers, was experience, and being a chartered financial analyst maybe actually made your performance worse. Do you believe that? Let's see here. Don't they do a bunch of technical analysis in that program? Technical analysis is not covered in CFA. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, probably the moves in ES are going to be both ways, right? That's where it kind of becomes hard. Is do you have signals that are actually effective at predicting turns and moves and stuff? And it's really going to be those turns where it's going to matter, right? Of course, you can try just taking a little bit of the trend. Blow my nose. Yeah. Did you see my plunge protection team video yesterday? My YouTube short about the plunge protection team. I don't know if that's actually what it was, to be honest. I mean, so according to Spot Gamma, somebody started selling SPY puts. Somebody started selling SPY puts. And that is what reversed the gamma. I thought it went when I was making it, I thought it was hilarious. It kind of just did okay. We need to get somebody. You need to go and find a guitarist or something that does TikTok and tag them on my TikTok and have them duet it so that there's background music. Good morning. How are the markets doing this week? Well, so far the markets haven't really moved, but there's been a lot of volatility. There's excessive volatility. And we're seeing some indication of that here this morning, although it does look like, as predicted, they created a liquidity hole at 128.10 in the treasury, tried to make a little push up further and burned out and are now stuck in that hole. Tell you what, it doesn't really help you make money. It's the weirdest edge, wouldn't you say? An edge that tells you that it's going to stop, that it's not going to go anywhere. It's useful, but not really very much as like an entry signal or like where it's going to go, right? Well, yeah, short covering. I mean, once this guy starts selling puts and the gamma flips around, then everybody that was short gamma has to furiously cover. And the whole thing is that these are all robots doing this, right? That are like taking these positions in terms of like long gamma or short gamma. So their whole thing is that they got to do it as quickly as possible. It's pretty crazy. Hey, here's an idea, SEC. How about we change the mark-to-market rules so that the amount of money that you have available to you has to factor in the impact of your orders first. So that, yeah, you won't have as much leverage. Yep, there will be less leverage. But you know what? I would go a long way towards stopping some of this ridiculous. And I really have to say, like yesterday, it was ridiculous. What was going? There was nothing going on. What happened over the weekend or on Monday that would cause more selling than there was last week? Absolutely nothing, right? This is this is self-excitement. It was a market event that generated almost entirely by market activity and not external news. And the NASDAQ declined 5%, 4%, 5%. That is nuts. That is nuts. That is like, hey, that probably shouldn't happen, guys. Probably that shouldn't happen. Maybe there's something wrong with our market if that's happening. Yeah? Can you use liquidity holes to short options on short time frames? Hey, actually, that's a really good idea. You could, maybe. You could do like condors on it or something. You start to see it happen, sell a condor. I don't know if you would make very much money on the short term from it because, saying it's not going to move here for 5 minutes, I don't know if you can actually make, the options will move all that much in 5 minutes, but it's worth looking into for sure. Hmm. Man, why is the dog crying? He wants outside, huh? You would have to do it on expiration and hope the hole traps them until the close. Yeah. Well, I remember one time when AIG was really, really taking off, and I had bought into it on Sim. I think it was a Sim account. This was early on. This was like 2009, right? AIG taken off because they're actually not going to like collapse, and they actually made money off of all of these insurance. And so I'm in, and then for some reason I just decide to get out, and the stock just goes and then kind of recovers a little bit. And so I thought I'm on StockTwits. I'm trying to get like the attention on StockTwits. I thought, I called that top like almost perfectly. Well, there was somebody else out there that has sold condors up there or something, and it made a ton of money on that. And it was a quick drop. But I don't quite know what, I'd have to go back and look at what all of the individual options did in a move like that to understand how it made money. Okay, let's take care of this dog. I don't know what the hell his deal is this morning. All right. I don't know what the dog's deal is. He whined. He went outside for a second and came right back, but he didn't really do anything. he's been I don't want to make it too disgusting. He has not been able to hold in his bodily functions, and my wife is quite sick of it already. And I'm like, dude, she's gonna end it, dude. You gotta pull your stuff together. And then here he is, mourning, whining downstairs. The question is, if we have negative 5% range days, can we get negative 10%? That will get serious margin calls. Yeah. I mean, with the kind of market activity that we're seeing, you could get to like circuit breaker stuff, right? I don't know what it is, but I am definitely allergic to something. I hope it's not dogs. I didn't really run the air purifier last night. But I don't get it. I don't just get it at home. Like, actually, the worst place is the supermarket. So maybe it's just dust or plastic in the inside. I don't know. That's why my eyes are always red. How old is the dog? Oh, he's like 16 or 17. Like, he's really old. Like, he's okay. We had a dog that was like 17 and a dog that was like 13. And the other dog that was like 13, we liked her. She was she was stupid. Oh my gosh, this is the dumbest dog I've ever seen. She's not very smart. But she really wanted to please, and she really wanted to be pet all the time. She just, if you sat down, she was on your lap immediately. That's what that dog loved. And she developed a cancerous tumor on her leg. And eventually, when she started limping around and was in pain, like there was one day where she was like, she just wouldn't stop moving around because it hurt. Which was making it hurt more. And of course, she's not a very bright dog. So of course, she decides to try and walk around everywhere. And yeah, so we had to put her to sleep. And we thought that Mickey was going to be the first one to go. So, but now my wife is saying like, well, once they can't hold in their poop, that might be a good time for them to go. And we are getting a puppy here. I don't smoke weed. Why are you guys saying that? Just what? So because I make. Well, here's what I don't understand this. Why does making a silly video mean that I smoke weed? or does smoking weed make your eyes water? I tell you what. When I was doing DJing, all of my friends, they were doing stuff. You're just talking about the red eyes. Oh, really? Smoking red eyes means that you smoke weed? Oh, like my eyes, like I don't know. Is it? I don't know that bad. They're actually like the silly thing is that they've actually been better since I've been getting water eye drops, but I think I need to go see an allergen specialist. I just don't want to add another medication to my regimen. Oh yeah. Well, dude, I live in Utah. Come on. I suppose that smoke would make your eyes red. Today should be fun. I don't know if fun is the right word, Keller. Dangerous. It's dangerous. Today is going to be dangerous. I think we're going to get some, at least at the very beginning in the ES, I think you're going to see some really wild volatility. Yeah, I think things could get a little silly. Highway to the danger zone. I have to change the song up a little bit so that I don't get flagged. That's all super silly, but it's the way it is. You know what's driving me crazy right now? Can I rant? I know this is like probably not like anywhere anything to do with markets or anything, but the content moderation on popular social media platforms is so bad sometimes. YouTube has gotten better at the spam comments, but if it's like if there's like harassment or anything like that, and or people that are just like outright scamming people, like literally there are people on YouTube that are just running outright scams, and YouTube is just like, oh, we can't, we no, they're fine, we don't see anything wrong. Gosh, it's so ridiculous. So on TikTok, there's these people now. I think that they're like being paid to do it. I think that people like if you go and you promote this creator in the comments on TikTok, every place that you can prove that you posted their name somewhere, you get money or you get a credit or something like that. And so you got all of these people that are saying like, oh, contact this person on WhatsApp and all this. It's a freaking scam, guys. Nobody, does anybody actually like follow through and click these and stuff? Ugh. But if any of my videos get popular, I start getting those spam comments, like tons of them. And I'm doing everything that I can to try and like filter them out and everything, but it doesn't seem to be working for me for whatever reason. I'm gonna try it again today. Oh, it's so frustrating. And I'll report the comments and TikTok says, "Oh, we don't see no violation." What? And then the worst part is what they'll do is they'll create a fake account that has your same name and start replying to all of the comments with this person that's not you. And then if you report the account, there it'll just sit in review for days and days. It's absolutely ridiculous. And like, does TikTok want this activity to happen? What the heck? It drives me crazy. How many medications do you take a day? 3. So it's not, I don't know. So here's the thing. Well, one of the medications that I take, it's kind of weird to talk this openly about it, but I take Strattera or atomoxetine, which is a norepinephrine reuptake inhibitor. So it's a antidepressant class of drug that helps me focus. Oh, it really helps, especially with emotional control. And that one's fairly expensive. And then I take Lialda for my ulcerative colitis. I saw this study the other day that said that people with ulcerative colitis or whatever were more likely to see plastic in their gut. And so the theory now is that ulcerative colitis could be a reaction to plastic. So I could be allergic to plastic and plastic dust. Maybe that's why my eyes get I don't know. Because I sit in there and I think, well, maybe it's the dog or the animals, or I'm allergic to the animals or something like that. But then if I go outside, my eyes water. If I go to the supermarket, my eyes really, really water. I don't know what it is. Make it. Oh, I know, right, Uzi? It's weird to see younger, much healthier guys than me take 3 to 4 more medication than I need to. Yeah. I tell you what, Uzi, the ulcerative colitis thing was just the most bizarre trip, right? It's like over the course of a few months, you just go from being completely regular, going to the bathroom, to, all of a sudden your poop is maroon and it's starting to get red. So you're like, this is something that we should probably go and take a look at. And you go to the doctor and they're like, well, this is weird. But you probably need to go and see a gastroenterologist. And then they go and they look and they do the colonoscopy and everything. And I had an infection at the time, Staphylococcus or whatever, but there was ulcers in my gut. And then ever since then, I've been taking the Lialda. And if I don't take the Lialda, oh man. Well, you've seen me. You've been around, right? When we've been through that, I've been like, well, I don't really feel like I have much energy. I'm kind of backing off on taking too much risk because I don't feel so good today. It's like it makes you tired. It's like there's nothing wrong with you, but because your body reacts so aggressively to a gastrointestinal infection of sorts, right? It just destroys you, right? So I take the Lialda, I'm fine. But if I don't take the Lialda, then I start getting blood out of my butt. I know it's gross. I don't know how to explain it other than that. Okay, and it's like for no reason. Where does it come from? There's nothing like else, and they have no clue what it is. Oh, you say fix your diet, dude. It's like there's been so many studies on this sort of stuff. There's like these different diets that people try to take and like what seems to trigger it and everything. Like they can't figure it out. They can't figure it out. This new study though, it was like last month or the month before that. They did a study and they looked at people's stool and they found that people that had ulcerative colitis and what's the other one where it's your whole digestive tract and not just your colon, inflammatory bowel disease or Crohn's disease, that they had more plastic in their stool. So plastic sensitivity seems like a really solid candidate for causing this. That would explain why it's been so difficult for them to track it down. And the thing that gets really crazy about it, here's what's really crazy about it, is that like polyester does it. So one of the things I've been doing is like, you notice I always try and use a Kleenex. So if I, and not toilet paper, because if you use toilet paper, that will like get stuck to your skin. And if you try and use like your shirt, the shirt has polyester. So shirt could make it worse. And when I rub my eyes with my shirt, it tends to make it worse. My eyes. But like that's the crazy thing is like a lot of the plastic that's going into your digestive system just comes from you swallowing air with polyester fibers in it. Right? Diet and exercise. Listen, guys. I definitely exercise, right? I haven't been as good over this past winter because it seems like a lot of things come in. But I've got Olympic weights with bumper plates in my garage. I lift 4 times a week. I'm pretty active. I suck at it. I am just not built to lift heavy weights. I'm probably more of a runner. But I do enjoy it, and that's how I keep myself healthy. And I eat pretty healthy too. I try to keep things as natural and simple as possible. Like I usually eat still cut oatmeal for breakfast, for instance. And I've tried cutting every little individual thing out. Don't take any gluten. Don't take any milk. Don't take all of the different things that could be allergens. I'm telling you, none of it makes a freaking difference. And the literature on this subject suggests that although some people might find temporary relief in diet changes, that it appears to be ineffective at managing the condition. The only thing that I have found that seems to make a difference is that if you start taking a probiotic, the first few days of taking the probiotic, your body will change. And then it goes back to what it was. So it kind of changes your gut flora and like the immune response, but then ultimately your body still starts going after your gut again. So it's an autoimmune disease of some sort. Fasting can help in some situations. Yeah, I don't know. I think that there's something in there. Maybe it's plastic or polyester, or maybe it's just something that's always going to be in your gut that your body has decided is has developed a response to. It's the same thing. So Hashimoto's disease, this is where your body attacks your thyroid, and it's an autoimmune disease as well. Your body is literally attacking your thyroid. And one of the theories there is that your body develops an allergy to gluten. Like, you get a leaky gut, there's gluten in your bloodstream, so your body starts attacking the gluten, and the gluten protein is similar to the proteins in your thyroid, and so your body starts attacking your thyroid. Like, it's really weird. And there's been a lot of other studies where they've shown that, like, you'll get sick with certain colds or whatever, and you can develop autoimmune diseases from it. Yeah. So the Lialda is like, oh my gosh, it is like just one of the worst things that you could get, guys, because the medication for it without insurance is like $1,500 a month. It's insane. Like, the cost of this stuff. And here's where it gets worse, is that the active ingredient in it is called mesalamine, and there is a generic for mesalamine. But the thing about the medication, the Lialda, that makes it work is that it has a special coating that will not disperse the medication until it gets to your colon. So the generic does not have that special coating technology. It still tries to get to the end, but it's not even half as effective, right? So the generic basically doesn't work for me. But because there's a generic, the insurance will say, "Oh, we don't want to pay for it." Right? So you have to go through all of these hoops for your doctor to prescribe the brand name, right? And get them to pay for it. And then, even then, they've changed all of the insurance plans so that they don't start paying the medical costs until you've hit your deductible. Basically, you have to hit your deductible every year, which is just ridiculous, right? Ugh. So it's a lot of money. Tens of thousands of dollars down the drain managing this one condition in somebody that is doing everything that they should and is incredibly healthy, and there's absolutely no reason that this should be happening. It's just the most frustrating thing in the world, right? God, why do you guys keep making these such like? Do you not listen? You're just trolling me now. Are you just trolling me, GT350? You're in rough shape. Start eating. I eat very clean. I ate well, we had pizza yesterday. That wasn't too clean. Before that, we had chicken and yams for dinner. Like, usually a meal is chicken and rice. like most gym people. Are the treasures going to try and break out here? I don't know. The 5-year is kind of like really looks consolidated. The 30-year is already pushed a new high. Nah, I'm telling you, it's not the diet. I'm almost 100% sure now at this point, having tried almost everything in terms of diet and reading a lot of literature on the subject, that it is not anything to do with diet. I've tried cutting out the rice. So for people that have thyroid problems, they have these recommended diets where there's like 5 things that you take out. It's like wheat, rice, legumes, milk, and I forget what the other thing is, nightshades or something like that. You don't take any of those things for like a month. And then you bring them like individually in. I've never taken it that extreme, but what I'll do is like no milk for a month. No change. Ugh. You started smoking in 2005? We're gonna get you off of that eventually one day, Uzi. We got bots off of it. Hard thing though is you gotta just go cold turkey. Are you okay? Am I dropping frames here? Military. Oh yeah, gotcha. That's funny. Just checking the markets here. So, given how active it was when the treasuries kind of started going, like the volatility has really died down, although there does still seem to be above average activity in the indexes. Yeah, it's frustrating. So I do that. Now the other one is, I'm ADD, so I take the other medication for my ADD. And it's just the medication, that one is a little bit hard to manage because the medication like does weird stuff to you, man. Like after you get used to it, it's great. And I'm much happier. I'm much happier. But like if you go a day without doing it, oh, it's so weird. Like first of all, if I go to sleep, if I haven't taken the norepinephrine reuptake inhibitor and I go to sleep, I'll have weird dreams where something is wrong and I'm trying to wake up. And so you'll like wake up like every 5 minutes. You go into a dream, you wake yourself up. You go into a dream, you wake yourself up. Just sitting here, like you'll get like twitches, like you jolt. That's because like the brain was used to firing with more of that neurotransmitter in your brain, and it's not there anymore, and it has to readjust to a lower baseline. So it sucks if that one doesn't get refilled. And that one used to be crazy expensive too, but now they've fixed that one. So, how did I get into all of that? Oh, because he has how many medications? Because we were talking about how my eyes water. Yeah. He used to take bupropion, which was a norepinephrine reuptake inhibitor. I have fond memories. Well, for you, it probably made you feel good. For me, it just makes me normal. When I come over here on my screen, like my little screen where you guys talk, for some reason the YouTube thing is like churning. I don't know what's with that. But so anyways, now I'm allergic to something, and it's gotten to the point where my eyes are just like driving me absolutely crazy. And what am I going to do? Pick up another medication that might have other weird side effects in combination with everything else I'm taking? No. Eye droplets would be better, or just running a lot of air filters all the time and vacuuming the house obsessively. It is time today. Today is my non-gym day. I am vacuuming. Today, the whole house. And then next time I buy clothes, no polyester clothes. That's my next. Oh, how do you get to that? You think about it. If it's plastic and polyester, like think about how crazy that is. Think about how crazy. How do you get that out? It's like, have to buy completely new wardrobes for the entire family, and you're gonna have to buy fibers that are more expensive. It's cotton and wool are like tend to be more expensive. Ugh. I'd rather exist in my natural state, even at night. I tell you what, I'm happier. Well, if you had ulcerative, I got to tell you, this like the ulcerative colitis is something that'll will kill you. For one thing, when you're in that constant inflammatory state, it actually kind of weakens your immune system, so you're more likely to contract things like C. diff and so forth. I've caught C. diff like 4 times. When I haven't been, it's been a long time. It's been a long time here. It's been a year or two, 2 years or so. We haven't caught it. But man, when I catch it, that'll kill you if you don't take care of it. That'll kill you. And then if you don't manage the ulcerative colitis, you'll get cancer. So, pretty bum deal. But the good news is that with the medication, it does manage it. The only one that hurts me, the other thing that kind of hurts is that the Strachera, it seems to really hamper my ability to build muscle. So before I got on the medication, and also before I started waking up early, I was making really good, consistent strides in my weightlifting, and then ever since that changed, I haven't been able to increase my maxes and stuff. So I'm sure at some point in my life I'm going to have to get off of this Strachera, but it will probably be after I'm through my peak earning years. I make no illusions about the fact that one day my life is going to collapse like a speeding train coming to a stop when my lifestyle really catches up with me. For your health, yeah. Well, how old are you? I'm 36. 36, yes. Weightlifting and norepinephrine drugs go together. Well, I think that where it causes a problem is that it's like harder to put on weight. I don't know. I don't know what causes it. So it definitely hampers your appetite. Appetite, right? That's where I think it kind of hurts. Is like I'll eat just enough to maintain weight. Although this winter I did gain 10 pounds, so doesn't completely eliminate your ability to put on weight, but yeah, I think that the difference with a different norepinephrine reuptake inhibitors are going to be like where it actually gets distributed in your brain. Quit smoking and drink only water. I could add some life maybe and lose 20, 30 pounds. Yeah, try drinking more and more water. YouTube finances training to run the mile so you don't have too much weight. I hate running. I just don't enjoy it. It's boring to me. It seems to me, the way that my body and my brain is built, that my ancestors were like the scouts. They were the ones that would ride up ahead and see what was in store for them. I think that's what I was meant to do. No, and else it doesn't help sometimes when in the morning I don't eat enough for breakfast. I had a muffin and 2 pieces of bacon. Like that should be enough to tide me over until after the stream, but I don't know. I'm feeling a little woozy. Bread, yeah. I really try to avoid explicitly eating bread. There's just not helpful for you. At least not white bread. We've gone through bouts where we were like hyper healthy. Only eat quinoa and all that sort of thing. So this guy Stason in Discord is saying, that after FOMC we should see price grow up. I think that might be the case. I think that market analysts are getting way ahead of where the Fed is at. I'm going to bet that the Fed is not opinion is not too different than it was like 3 weeks ago, and that they're still thinking, well, we're probably going to raise rates in March, and then if it's appropriate, we'll raise rates 3 or 4 more times this year, right? And the markets will be like, oh, okay, so no 50 basis point rise, no, not this or that, and okay, they'll be relieved. I hope. Let's play with Samsung Health Phase. Is that a thing? They have an app for Samsung Health. Stason is the smartest person in the Discord, you say? Could be. I think he has a pretty good theory there. That the market is freaking out about what's going to happen at FOMC, and the most likely outcome of that FOMC meeting is relief. Because he's not going to come out there and be like, oh yeah, we need to raise, actually guys, we need to raise interest rates 75 basis points in March. Just so you know, right? This is not going to happen. I can tell that it's something allergies because I'm getting itching, like the skin around my eyes itches. Helped with the calorie counting. Yeah, I should probably, the one thing that I could probably do that would help my weightlifting would be to do more calorie counting and macro counting. It would also help to not have a stressful job in the morning and to eat better in the morning and not wake up so early. That's probably what's hurting us. Welcome to capitalism. Love that. So the first video that I did of that on TikTok did really, really well, and I got a lot of viewers from it. Since then, it's like each video has been a little bit less, which is I was hoping that each video was gonna do better, that it was going to grow. So I've been thinking about that, trying to figure out why does that happen. We do probably need to make some other content. I think I do get 100 grams of protein a day, actually. I think that what usually happens to me, though, is that I rely too much on fats for my calories. Your mid-Atlantic accent is better than your New York stock market guy accent. I don't even try and use an accent in that. That just maybe kind of comes out. I'm mostly just trying to change the tone of my voice. And when I do it, I yell really, like if I did it in this microphone, it would probably be too loud. So I was thinking the other day, I was like, well, maybe instead of putting all the things on my screen and just recording it with the phone, I should just do it all in Resolve. I don't know if that would be easier. Well, probably would be a little bit harder and a little bit slower, but it might be better. But then I was thinking, no, like part of the charm is how ridiculously low tech it is. Right. No, I know what a mid-Atlantic accent is. Yes. I can't think of anything to say that would. I'm not in the mode for it, I guess. I'm feeling a little too chilly and not silly right now. But people enjoy it. I do. One thing I do wonder is because I call the series capitalism, like it's capitalism, the series, that some people seem to think that it's like anti-capitalism or something like that, or it's like, but that's not the case. It's just a synopsis of what's going on in the markets. And I chose that because that was like all encompassing. Then it's like, oh, we can talk about markets and individual companies and even companies that aren't on the stock market and politics and international it was just all encompassing. That's why I chose to call it capitalism. Whether you were trying for it or not, you kind of hit it. Yeah, the mid-Atlantic. No, I get it. Yeah. They're moving up here in the treasury. It kind of looks to me like it wants to continue to move up, but they're kind of having trouble and they're just kind of trying to wiggle it around. I'm still kind of sitting here like, what's your rush? Also, this is a little bit like yesterday, isn't it? Where the treasuries kind of gets hard for them to do anything and hard for us to make money on a wider swing. No. But a couple of the comments that I get on the capitalism videos are like, seem to imply that they think that I'm being anti-capitalist in doing it, which is not really the objective. Russian communist. No. Somebody said today on socialism, and like you should do one of those, or communism, and I was like, well, I would totally do that, except for I don't think that would please the TikTok overlords. So let's keep that one on the down low, right? Well, so what do y'all expect when the feds actually raise the rates? Markets go down even more, or will it already be priced in? Well, I'm thinking that when they raise rates in March, that the yield on the 10-year could be 2% potentially. It depends, though, on how big this slowdown that we have a little bit of evidence for ends up being. That's like the real wild card. And then that's kind of like a problem that I see, is that the market seems to be freaking out over a few data points that are really incomplete and might be giving us the wrong picture. So, but you know what else I'm seeing is I've seen some comments in like articles, like they don't attribute it to anyone in particular, so I can't say who it is, but supposedly large traders basically saying, oh no, we're just going to sell this until the Fed capitulates. And because they think that that's what was going on in the past, was, if the Fed even thinks about tapering or whatever, throw a fit until they give up, and then, things can go on the way that they're. But I don't think that that's what was actually happening. I think that there was actually real concerns in the economy that would necessitate them to not raise rates, and the more longer term factors that influence inflation in the last 10 years at least were all deflationary. But that environment is not today anymore. And so trying to force the Fed's hand, I think, is kind of dumb. Like, unless there's really a slowdown coming, but then you don't have to do anything. If that's the case, the Fed will see it in the data and they won't raise. So it might take, and I think that there was kind of this moment yesterday where a couple of people stopped and said, well, like, what's going on? This is kind of silly. So I do think that the markets will eventually chill out. But it might not be for a few months, right? Like, we're going to get all of this February data. And the February data may not be very good. So just warning you. And the other thing is another thing that's been causing problems here is that most of the companies have been guiding down Their forward guidance has been lower. That's why some of these stocks are getting hit. So, like Netflix is the prime example, right? They guided down on their growth, and the growth number, because they're projecting the growth out over X number of years, changing your forward growth estimates have a really significant impact on the stock. So when all is said and done, 10% correction in the indexes, probably completely appropriate. And then that's the other thing that I think is really weird about all this, is that I see all these people panicking, and I'm sitting here like, this is a 10%, like this happens every year. Like, do you know that the average yearly drawdown, like on a year time frame, is 16% in the indexes? It's only been this post-pandemic period where we haven't gotten that. And then we get a 10% correction. And I mean, literally 10%. It's like, it was only 10%. All these people are freaking out. It's not that bad. And then you had yesterday, like I was just like, oh, this is kind of chill, until I started seeing some of that insanity towards the lows yesterday. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? Because this seems incredibly irrational. But you know what I think it is? Here's what I think it is. I think that all of those big leveraged gambler types, not only were they over leveraged in the S&P 500, but they all owned Bitcoin. And so because Bitcoin has been completely falling apart, I think that that's been creating more panic on people in other markets. Yeah, your portfolio went from being down 3% to being up 0.7. I never looked at what the lows were on my portfolio. I made 60 cents. Usually I make more money per day on my stocks than I do from my futures trading. But yesterday the futures trading was a good hedge. Supply chain issue played a major part in where we are now. Yeah. Well, it really makes you wonder, if we're going to continue seeing inflation, will raising rates do anything to alleviate it? Because what's going to happen is raising rates isn't going to directly affect the thing, but what it's going to do is it's going to reduce activity, if not throw us into a recession. And then there will be less demand, and then maybe supply can catch up. And then hopefully once you've cleared the supply chain, they can make it a little bit stronger, and we don't have that problem as bad next time around. It really is something that really bothers me right now. Something that really bothers me right now is that the supply side economics picture, piece of the puzzle, continues to be ignored. Because the Reaganites, if President Trump's economic advisor Larry Kudlow was here talking, he would be saying, yeah, well, because when you do stimulus, if you only stimulate demand and you don't stimulate supply at all, then the supply isn't able to keep up, and all of that stimulus gets wasted. And go back and look at the numbers. Most of this stimulus that the government put into the economy got wasted, and the other portion of it just went into markets and pushed asset prices up. So it was kind of a waste. Why? Because they didn't put more investment into supply side. So what are you going to do? And then so all of this stuff happened. Is anybody sitting here saying, well, when supply and demand come out of sync, you're going to need to wait for the supply side to be able to catch up, which means you're going to have to invest more in the supply side, and it's going to take some time to build those things up. If we had done that at the beginning of the pandemic, then we would be seeing the fruits of it right now, right? Is anybody talking about that? No. Nobody's talking about it. It's just like, oh, we're going to get inflation. And nobody's really talking about why that happened, Oh, I'm gonna tell you what, the media has a really high degree of control over what people talk about, doesn't it? Hmm. I say that the media being willing to go off of after Joe Biden just kind of shows like for a long, long time, media really tried to help Democrat candidates and politicians. Like they were just like actively helping them. And so it was always like Republicans were unpopular and Democrats were popular. But now you see the media actually trash a Democrat. And when the media actually trashes a Democrat, it's like that politician's popularity is just absolutely dismal. Okay, here is the S&P 500 opening up here. So far, looks like a buy. I will click in there with a sim trade and maybe another one. Let's see here. Maybe 30. No, too slow. Okay. Well, that's all right. It sure is wild. I'm going to pull up my CPU monitor over here. And just put it over here into performance and put it down in the corner where it doesn't have to bother you guys. And track my CPU usage because I don't think that my CPU is maxing out here. But I continue to, well, it's like if I put an order out there, it's like it takes forever to show up. So. Yeah, it's funny with the lag between the stream and my end. You buy the ES at the high, and on my end, it's already pulled back to the lows, and you try to add it the lows, and on my end, it's already back at the high. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little frustrating, actually. Okay. Okay. I'll do it again. I'll do it again. Yes, sir. Okay. Gonna try and see it go now. Well, if I had kept that one, it would have gotten filled, but will I get the 42? No. Doesn't look like it. Looks like they're gonna try. Wow, look at that. Oh man. Yeah, so this is definitely like yesterday where the amount of volatility in the S&P 500 is just like unreal. But the bulk of the volume does appear to be buy. So I'm going to keep it light here on that contract. As they're gonna try and slam them here. And you can see the treasuries back at their highs here. Stock market crash is trending on Twitter today, really? We need to tweet that. I don't know how to build an audience on Twitter, man. Like I'll interact with people, I'll comment on video, but it's like really hard to build a large audience. I don't. Some of these people that are like, Twitter influencers and like that's all they are. I don't get how they got there. How did they do that? It's obvious how easily people change. Well, let me make may I suggest that the behavior in the market is maybe not because of the way that people think or people's emotions or anything like that, and is probably more likely to be caused by extremely large players who are largely price insensitive and have no choice but to be transacting in the way that they are. I think that's probably more likely what's going on here. I am Speculator Seth everywhere. You can check me out here: YouTube, TikTok, Twitter. Have links in the video description, I believe. Not on Instagram. I'm not on Instagram. I tell you what, I still see a lot of people putting effort into Instagram, and I'm like, why? Why wouldn't you use TikTok? Don't get it. Frankly, the only reason I use Twitter is because, there's a lot of market people on Twitter, so. Well, still a high degree of volatility, but a little bit of trouble getting above 43.39. I'll take one at 30. Oh, come on. Okay. Take my other one off there. Or not. Okay. That's not right. Okay, there we go. Oh, wait, what? No, I don't want that. Okay. Oh, man, that sucks. Well, I still have the position on. So I made 53, so we'll just have to track it manually, okay? Thought I was like, well, I should only have one contract now. But it was just taking a long time to update. I think that what's happening is that the Jigsaw sim can be a little bit slow in updating those things because, it has to go to their servers and everything. That's probably what's going on there. By the way, oh, okay, we're fine. I was looking at myself in the camera, I'm like, I kind of look a little overexposed, don't you think? Nah, we're okay. Maybe it's a little bright, but. Jeez, you're getting a lot of slips still, right? So all of this nonsense is putting stress on the market makers. That's good. Let's go, giddy up. Come on, there we go. Yeah. Get out of here. I haven't figured it all out. Instagram was easier last time. Yeah. Well, like the thing that I'm looking at on Instagram is like, number one, why would anybody be searching for finance content on Instagram? And number two is that apparently all of your stuff has to be absolutely perfect on Instagram. So I'm just kind of like, no thanks. No thanks. Yeah, so my CPU is never going above 34%. So it's not the CPU. It could be that Ninja Trader is having a hard time keeping up. I don't know. Like the the DOM, when I click the button to reset, that's a little bit delayed, right? So we could come up in here into these other settings. What is it? I forget what the setting is called. Market depth throttle. But I have that set to the default at 20, so not that. Maybe I just have too many DOMs open. Okay, so after that big monster rush, it wasn't I guess relative to the volatility that we're seeing, it wasn't that crazy of a move up, but there was some pretty massive iceberging up there. Could also be the Vista chart. Maybe it's having the huge Vista chart up. Nope, not going to touch it. Oh, okay, there they touched it. Oops. Okay. So I have like the amount of ticks that it needs to go to reset my micros to be higher than on the ES one. And so when the micro one is moving on me, that means, yeah, we're in a volatile market. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to kill this for a little bit. I'm going to kill the, oh, no, still a little slow. Okay, a little bit of absorption here in this area now. Oh, good call. Wait, what? No, I'm so confused. All right, well, I had 2 contracts on, and then apparently I didn't. Man. Sure is trading a wild range. It looks like they might test the low end of this. They might do it. No, not yet. All right, let's do it. I want to see it. Stop run. Stop run short. No. No. Okay. Have we talked about yesterday being the second largest retracement on the NASDAQ on record? Most of the rest of that list are from 2008 and 2000. Says a lot about where we're heading in terms of volatility. I'm not sure it does, to be honest with you, Will. Well, so here's a question for you. Um, you got other. What are some ways that we measure volatility? So it is a record, and the amount, it was like the largest intraday reversal, right? Down 5% on the Nasdaq and then back up. Right now, a lot of this is specific to the Nasdaq, but what would be like other measures of volatility that we could look at? What do you guys think? I mean, you're looking at some other things of volatility, because to be honest, from my perspective, it doesn't seem that bad to me. This is like a 10% decline. Yesterday was kind of just this special fluke in my mind. What are some other measures of volatility that we could look at? Well, here's one. How about since none of you are responding, here I'm trying to be a good mentor and ask questions. And then you guys are all just like, what's he gonna say? Come on. Yeah, he says, yeah, we're not there. Yeah, I think it's an indication. So here's the volatility, right? So look at the volatility index in during the COVID crisis when we were up at 85, and now we've moved from 16 to the 30-40 area. Which, by the way, we were there kind of at the beginning of 2021 too. Right? Something weird's going on in the Nasdaq for sure. Okay. I got my big gamble on. I've made 70 so far. I wish I would have been able to make better decisions if I hadn't have screwed up and, you know, canceled the contract. Or gotten out of the position, rather. Okay, so I'm seeing some. Let's bring our Vista chart back up. Oh, not that one. Wrong one. This Vista chart. There we go. It looks like, yeah, it still is. It still is buying. Must be some wild stuff going on in options. The Treasury's going to bust out on the highs here. Okay, so there was a break of the lows. I would say that break of the lows, not stronger in volume, but stronger in degree of move. I'm just going to continue to be a degenerate here. Yeah, this volatility is not abating though. It might be time to flip around and try going short. I don't know. So if we're going to look at some of these levels, there is There is a spot at 42.75. It looks a little interesting to me. Mm. Looks like it's time to puke, huh? Almost. I want to go more than 1,000. Okay, so we're going to try and go short here. I think I'll take one just right where we're at. Actually, no, we'll take a couple. Okay. Okay. There, my data feed finally pooped out on me. Okay. They're fighting there, and the volume coming in short here at this spot is really crazy. I don't know how to put it any differently than that. What DOMs? Okay, so the chart in the upper left is the S&P 500, and the two DOMs on the left are the S&P 500, and then the rest of them are all treasuries, different maturities of treasuries. Okay. Good. Good. All right. Okay, here's gonna tag 4,300. Right. Okay, so now if we're gonna do this again, probably in this area. Okay. I'm Good. Not quite enough. Any rational? No, I don't think. I think it's. I think traders gonna trade. Get your mugs in the link in the video description today. There's no news. I don't think that there's any kind of new piece of information. I think that this is entirely market driven, and probably a lot of this is being driven by those large price insensitive players, right? Okay, so I took a little bit off there because that's like break even on the day. Wiped out that big loser we had. I'm probably going to let most of this just ride here until we're getting closer to this area that I think they might try and play. There's like the 80 and 75 to 80 area. Okay, well, what was that? Okay, that actually makes me want to flip. Potentially. Yes. Okay. Okay, so just make note 42.97. We might leave it behind. Good. Okay. Yeah. So that's kind of getting sucked back into it a little bit. Well, there was a little bit of a bounce there, but something crazy is going on out there because they're just getting slammed down hard. They still have quite a bit of delta. I mean, I guess the delta from like the open is gone, but like there's some delta going back to, when the treasuries opened up here that they still have yet to wash out. So if they're gonna continue as Kathy selling, it's maybe that's actually not a bad theory, because a lot of the market volatility yesterday was centered around ARK. Like it was trading insane volume amounts. Salim showed me a couple of his positions. I'm surprised that you're not showing me $1,000 one. Yeah, look at that. They might. Well, okay. I'm just trying to play out in my head. 42.97. There's definitely a little bit of a liquidity hole, and it looks like that there are points here where the buyers are taking some comfort from it and trying to push up. It's definitely the best buy push they've had since this kind of craziness started. But look at how easily they get slammed back towards the low as well. So if Kathy's not panicking, why should the more I think Kathy should panic. I think that her fund is done for. We'll see. We'll see. Did you see that that I posted it in my market recap where it showed that ARK basically came back to where Berkshire Hathaway was after all of this? Remember everybody saying, "Oh, Warren Buffett has lost his touch." That one, I was like, I'm gonna bet you that he's gonna end up being just fine. Yeah, see, that's not a bad bull run there, but you get a doji in the end on the 1 minute chart. At least you get a doji. They're not getting below 95 though. Not yet, at least. I should be careful what I say, because if anything I say, then they're immediately going to go and crush it, right? Well, a little bit below 95. Breaking the bottom there now. There we go. It took a little bit longer on that extra contract than I would have liked. Yesterday was a trap for buyers? I don't know. So here again. Wait, I'm supposed to I'm trying to approach things a little bit differently here for you guys. So if it was a trap, who set it? Who set the trap? There's another new low. Warren Buffett. yes, you guys, that's right. I know Warren Buffett, and yeah, you got us. We set a trap up together. Then we were gonna sell the indexes, but you guys seem to have sniffed it out, and I think now Warren is gonna have to puke his position and buy everything now. My take is I don't think that anybody is intentionally trying to make anything happen, or maybe if anybody is trying to make something happen here, they're likely to be surprised, because this market is just so insanely volatile. What's happening is market movement is forcing market movement, right? Because you get margin called, or you have to hedge your options and all of this sort of stuff, right? And that's what I think is going on here. So I don't think that you want to look at like traps or, I wouldn't think of it from the traps perspective. I would think of it as like what what kind of price insensitive buyers might be involved here. Why might they have to be doing stuff? I think that probably a really big player in this situation is the options guys, right? And there's my connection resetting again. And I reduced my position there because 80 was one spot that I was potentially seeing. Gold and silver jumped up there. That's curious. The bonds definitely made a push higher. Although, look, if I had taken it in the micros, I wouldn't have really made much from it, would I? Thinking back to yesterday, supposedly the reason that everything flipped around was because somebody sold a bunch of puts. Who? Who is that? Like, is it the plunge protection team? I mean, given that kind of activity, that would be like a really good guess, right? It'd be a really good guess. But should they really be doing that sort of thing? But then if it's not the plunge protection team, give them the benefit of the doubt, then it was some hedge fund or something. It's a little concerning that just some hedge fund can create that kind of movement. Yeah? Okay. Here we go. Hmm. I'm just gonna move up here because I don't like the way that played me. Mm, okay, cool. All right, so what does that give us? 300 in the end? Mm-hmm. 400. Elon Musk said we will crash, so we crashed. We do as it maybe, yeah, maybe it was Elon Musk that set the trap. Haven't seen SPY puts at such high IV for ages, says Pascal. I think that selling puts is probably the right move here. Except for that, like, if you're wrong, could be ugly. Okay, so I am now seeing. Yeah. Well, I think I missed that one. Do you think Putin created Bitcoin? I don't know. Well, like, here's the thing. Russia is banning Bitcoin. So I don't know. The problem is that I have absolutely no reason to think that it's more likely that Putin created it than that the CIA created it than that anybody else created it. Like, there's no real hard evidence either way about who Satoshi is or what the origin of this is. I do think that the possibility that it was created by a foreign government to be a disruption to economies, it's a possibility. It is a possibility. Don't see any reason for it to be more likely than anything else, but okay, so I want to come back over here. 4280 might be it. I didn't see enough volume there to really see the I guess the kind of volume that I would want, but it's like 4K, so there might be more. They might slip back down there and do some more volume. Oh, look at that, the treasury. Oh, okay, back enough. I saw that and move coming in the treasury, and I was a little flat-footed on it. But now that 5K bid at 16 kind of makes me think that there's somebody still buying a bunch of it here. So let's let them get filled, do their thing. Maybe then we try a reversal in the micros. But so far, this move in the treasuries would be the move in the ES would be qualify as a pretty standard technical move. Mm. I haven't put a real money trade on yet, no. I'm thinking about it. We made money on Sim. Actually, I should have cut that first trade off faster, but I kind of felt like I started to get a hot hand there. Seth is Satoshi confirmed. I wish. Listen, if I was Satoshi, I wouldn't have been sitting around, being quiet. The whole Craig Wright thing where you see he claims that he's Satoshi, which is just absolutely ridiculous. It's like, oh, well, because then why can't you send a message on the thing? And he says that he lost his keys. And I'm sitting like, well, it's a reasonable explanation because I can't think of any other reason why Satoshi would have decided to just go completely silent. Man, I missed it again. You know what, Mr. Market Maker in the 10-year, you were trying to help me, and it's okay. It's my bad. You don't need to wait for me. You can just go. You can just sell it all. It's fine. Nah, seriously, if I was Satoshi, number one, I wouldn't have lost the keys. Can you imagine? You get like your life's work, and it took off. Like after week 1, and when he was still sending transactions, he knew that it was like, going off sort of thing. I would have put my keys on a piece of paper, archive quality paper, and put it in a safety deposit box. And then when all of this insanity is going on with the chain splitting and all of that, I wouldn't have stayed silent. I'd been like, this is stupid. You guys are stupid. Stop it. So I'm definitely not Satoshi. I think it's more likely that Satoshi is either dead or like I just can't think of any reason why he'd go quiet. Look at that. I missed the trade, dude. I had it. I knew it was coming. I was putting orders out, it didn't get filled. I could have chased. I could still chase, frankly. Like I wouldn't surprise me in the least bit to see them come back to here. 55. Yeah. There's still room. Well, I don't know about that. Kind of fell a little quickly. Sure, Seth, you didn't lose. You keep, yeah. See the ES? It looks like that looks like a buy. Should we nibble on it? Let's nibble on it here at 4,300. We'll buy two. We'll buy two. We'll take one off at 05. Okay. You missed. I didn't see. Well, there's no way I would be able to see something like that. It'd go so quickly. But what I did see was they dropped below 80, which was where I was looking to get filled, and they didn't fill me, and they almost immediately flipped back up, and I could see it in the volume and everything. That's why I very quickly bail. I mean, I didn't necessarily get the best price on getting out, but it worked out still. I wanted to see it flip out. Now where we're at, yeah, I'm pretty happy with where I think that this could be another dip buying opportunity. Oh, that's very nice. Yes. Very, very nice. Wish that I had not missed my opportunity to get in at 735 in the micros. I'm a little weary about, yeah. It looks like it's just going to keep going, but I don't think that I can jump on that move. I feel like I missed it, and trying to chase it will just cause problems. Seth has to keep up appearances to stay off the CIA's radar. Even Superman had a day job. Well, do you think that the CIA knows? I think the CIA knows. I think the CIA knows who he is and is respecting his privacy. Yeah. Almost. Well, that might, I don't know. They're defending that a little bit too much. There might be another little dip there. That's a good question, Jacob Harlow. Do we have any empirical evidence of the plunge protection team stepping in yesterday? So we know that it was somebody selling puts that created the rebound. That would have to be somebody really big. But the plunge protection team is 100% a conspiracy theory with no backing evidence that I mostly mentioned as a joke. If there was evidence that that's what was happening, I think that there would probably be congressional inquiries. Now, I do know this sort of thing is possible. The Federal Reserve can go and make transactions through the Bank of New York and give it to the primary dealers, and the primary dealers can, use the information that they have to do funky things in the markets, perhaps. And it wouldn't even be crazy, in my opinion, for the plunge protection team to just call everybody, all of the banks up and say, hey, yo, I need you to do us a favor here. And like it coordinate all of the banks just flipping, right? That's possible, but we don't have any evidence that that's what's happening. To to be honest, I'm a little unsure about where this idea came from. But I tell you what, every time that things get a little crazy, it's like there's going to be this level that like, oh, if we break this level, it's going to be really bad, everybody. And then they go and they break that level and all chaos ensues, and then something magically comes and saves it. It's just so... I want to believe so badly, Jacob. I want to believe so badly. Is oil bouncing? Yeah, actually, oil doesn't look so bad now. I kind of want to get back into oil, but I'm a little concerned by the way that it's been acting the past few days. Haven't felt confident enough to try and play that. Yeah, I want to believe. Plunge protection team. I'm hoping you guys go back on that video on TikTok and go, find your favorite heavy metal guitar players and drummers and everything, and have them duet that video, so we got like some music, because there should be like that. Right? Is dope. It's a cool intro theme song. And then maybe we can go and hire some animators and they can make like an actual like animated intro, or maybe like a whole episode. I think that'd be great. Well, it looks like we're getting a little pullback here, and so my price isn't going to be the best price, but I'll stick to these small ones. That way I don't, wipe out all of the profit I made from the other trade, even though it doesn't matter. It's all sim trades anyways. Yeah, like there it is. I could have taken it. No, I did the right thing. There's that spot at 1.745. I did not think was a good spot. Could have been a $20 trade. It's cool. It's cool. I don't know. I don't think they'll give me another opportunity. Kind of looking at this and wondering, like, where could they go? I don't know if I'm particularly interested in trying to play the micros anyways. It's more fun to screw with the ES here and just be a degenerate gambler. Look at that. Hey, look at me. Your total on one MES trade is $18. Seems unstable for me to stay too long into the longs. Yeah, it's a little wild, right? Oh wow, that already filled me? Okay. Okay. Maybe I don't want that second contract. I don't know, man. That's a little... It's still a little too crazy for comfort. For sure. Yeah, I'm with you, Captain Price. I'm with you. It's a little silly out there. There's no reason for it to be moving like this. It's 100% just trade activity generating more trade activity. So here's something that might help us, okay? Something empirical, right? They did a research study where they looked at large, like 4 Six Sigma moves, and they tried to match those moves up with events in the Bloomberg news feed. And they found that the events that were accompanied by news and the events that were just created purely by the market behaved differently. And the ones that were generated by news, the volatility subsided more quickly, whereas the ones that were self-generated took longer for the volatility to dissipate. So if this is completely generated by self-excitement, this volatility could maybe continue, maybe even into the end of the week. You think? Because everybody's working themselves up into a tizzy over the FOMC meeting. Then the FOMC meeting is going to be a big deal, right? It's just going to keep going. Okay, the seller is going to try a bigger excursion here now. Maybe not. I wouldn't mind taking the range again because I would want. Well, actually, we're pretty good. It's good enough, I think, for one contract. If I was able to catch it one more time. Hell, why not? If I'm able to catch it one more time, then I'm really safe. So. And the treasuries maybe? No. I was going to say, are the treasuries maybe going to bounce here? I want to know how I did that. Well, was it I just saw that ES had hit the spot, was already kind of showing signs that it was done and was going to reverse, and the treasuries hadn't moved yet, but that they were showing some signs of weakness, and that maybe some people bought up in here were buying a buy and were maybe done. I waited a little bit too long because I saw that big 5K. I was like, oh, let's wait for a second. And then that was like, there wasn't anything else after that. This one I should have gotten in. Should have been quicker to get into it. And that's how I knew it was going to do it. I don't know. Maybe it was just luck, though. Because I didn't, well, the only reason that I thought that they was going to do it was because it was like, well, they went and they probed the levels that they wanted to do and it's done. I think I should get a ThinkPad or a gaming laptop. It kind of depends on the gaming laptop. I like ThinkPads. They make good laptops. They make a much more sturdy laptop. Like the one that I have, which is broken now. But like the laptop itself didn't break. What happened was Pixels went dead. Pixels went dead. So they're tanks. They're little tanks. Maybe I should just splurge and get an iMac. And kids can use it. I don't think I would really use it. And my feed little kind of space out there again. Yeah. So from 50 to 75. So that's a good 75-point range in the S&P 500. By the way, they're busting through average true range stop. So that is a pretty good sign that we might be reversing here. They're certainly busting out, there's more uptrend than we've had. Now here's the question. If this is a recovery, if this is the buy the dip recovery, how high will they get? Lenovo Legion 7 or Asus G16? Yeah, any kind of gaming laptop. Though you got to be really careful about I don't know how to put this. Like, if you get a laptop and you plan on doing any kind of trading on it, you want one that kind of like advertises gaming or multimedia. Because what a lot of these laptops will do is they'll switch the clock speed of the processor to save energy. And you don't when you're trading, that's a problem. That's when you get the lag. Though here this lag is pretty insane in the MES. I wonder if that's just the bridge can't handle, or I really think that it's probably, I mean, NinjaTrader is the most bogged down of my applications for sure. Yeah, this is a really strong reversal. I'm playing that well. You know, I do tend, so this is one. People are really going to hold this up as an example. I almost guarantee you that was a setup that Futures Trader 71 talked about in his morning thing. Like scenario 1 was going to be they go down to the previous day's point of control and then reverse. I can almost guarantee you that was one of his scenarios. And everybody's going to say, let's see, look, volume profile works. Well, sometimes it works. Sometimes it works. But things have fat tails. And when I backtested it, I couldn't get it to work. NVIDIA does drop the ARM deal after regulator pressure. Ian, not surprised about that one. Plunge protection team confirmed? Maybe. I hope so. Can you explain that? Okay, so let's see here. Do I have it? Okay. Watch my screen. I will show you. Okay, so I'm going to come here to Google and I'm going to type DPC latency checker. Latency mon. That's probably a good one. Download. Free downloads. Okay, so you notice here in all of their on the website, they're saying real-time audio suitability checker. So what they're saying is there any kind of hardware interrupts that would cause you to get a gap in your audio, essentially, right? So think of it from that perspective. A gap in your audio would mean a gap in your trading feed. Not what you want, right? So hopefully this isn't like a full installer. Usually they're just like, they just run. Dun, 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 dun. No, I don't want that one. Exit setup, yes. Okay. Well, we could do that one. There's another one that that you don't even have to install. This is the one I think that I want. Okay, that's a DPC lat.exe. Yep. Okay. So now you get this thing, which is our latency. So 1,000 microseconds is the latency that we got. And you just run that for a little while. Now, if we were on a laptop, what you would probably see is spikes up into 5 microseconds or 5 milliseconds or whatever it is, which is where you'll get like audio dropouts and stuff. So if we run this on my machine long enough, you will see them, because there will be points where the data comes in and the machine has trouble processing it all. Will definitely happen at some point. Right. So if you had the ability to actually test the laptop, that's what I would run on it. And that's how I would determine whether it's suitable for trading or not. These tools are built for like again, audio. Like the one of the issues used to be if you were a DJ and everything was going through computers, but not every laptop actually worked with it. A lot of gamers were getting, or sorry, a lot of well, actually, not a lot. The golden standard in the DJ world is those MacBooks, because those MacBooks don't have that problem. And if you want to get a cheaper laptop, because the software is not that CPU intensive, right? Should be, and anything should be able to handle it. You don't need to get a $2,000 MacBook, right? Well, but then you have this problem where the CPU energy switching causes DPC spikes. So you run this, and that's how you check them. But usually, if you search for that specific laptop and then you see, excuse me, I'm burping here and stuff. Typically, if you search for the name of the laptop and then DPC latency, there will be somebody out there that's tried it and can show you what it does. Right. So you say you have an Asus G15. Well, that's a gaming laptop, and those are designed to handle those sorts of things. And as long as you have it in high performance mode, that's another one, is you can change the different settings in it, but typically, as long as you have it in high performance mode, you'll be fine. Another one that you might see is some laptops will get interrupts from the USB power saving. So if any USB ports that you're not using, just turn the hubs off. And that can help you too. You're running the check and it's green. Yeah, mine's not as good as it should be. Probably time for me to clean my system. Everything you're saying is right on. Yeah. Well, the only reason I know all this stuff is because it was a big deal when I was a DJ, right? Because if audio cut out at all, it was unacceptable, right? So, I mean, but I wasn't going to buy an Apple. Heck no. Would a MacBook be better for trading? A MacBook probably would be pretty good for trading, but you'd have to install Windows on it. I think that some of these software do have Apple versions, but it's not as common. You're definitely better off using Windows because you get a lot more compatibility. And then you have to deal with all of those problems, like that the Mac keyboard doesn't match up to what the PC wants exactly, and you have all these funky utilities to deal with that. I would rather just buy a PC laptop. But would a MacBook be acceptable? Yes, it would. Well, that's the thing, is like the new MacBook, like I'm thinking about the new one that just came out like last month, right? That's like $2,000-$3,000, right? Yeah, you could get that and you could trade on. You'd probably be really happy, but it's complete overkill. It's complete overkill, though. Be great. I would, you know what? I should probably get one because I could edit on it. Hey, maybe instead of me getting another desktop computer, I should just splurge and get the MacBook for my wife because she likes the Mac stuff. And maybe if it's on a Mac, if DaVinci is running on a Mac, she'll be more likely to use it. I don't know. You'll have to protect it from the baby, though. You'll have to protect it from the baby because that's an expensive piece of equipment, and he is going to destroy that channel. Watch the channel mode now. Should have grabbed more than one MES. Hey, I could add a second one here. No, look, we already gambled big. I think let's relax, because even though it's by the dip, in this kind of action, it could do anything, right? So it's probably don't want to be like, take on too much risk. Right? Like I played the big trade, now let's do the more responsible one. right? We played that range like 3 or 4 times, and now just let the one contract run. I think that that's just fine. Just dandy. Anyways, you can see there, absolute maximum 1500 microseconds. Microseconds is like, if you realize, like a microsecond, that's like 1,000 microseconds is 1 millisecond, I think. So it's like an insanely short period of time. Like, it's so short that these machines don't even really actually have the ability to measure it. So it might actually be lower than what it's saying. I wonder if it's because I turned the virtualization on. I turned the virtualization on to do the, see, like, I think I actually have it running. Where is it? There it is. Docker. Docker is running. And I don't know if that uses start Docker when you log in. Apply and restart. No, don't show usage statistics. Okay. Now, right click with Docker desktop. It would be cool if there was a rule that every contract needs to be executed at a fixed value like 100 milliseconds. Why? And then if you all arrive within the same period, the spot that you get in the queue is random. You know, that would be a weird one because what would happen is we would all be doing the market making strategy, right? And we'd all submit our orders, and then if you got high enough in the queue, you would keep it, and everybody else would cancel. That would be funny. I think the problem is still for a retail trader is that the arbitrage strategies you just have to automate them. Like, you have to automate them. It's impractical to try and do them by hand unless you're like in an inefficient market or it's a really fuzzy correlation, right? That's like what Gary Norton teaches. It's kind of a fuzzy correlation. But like what most, like what most of the arbitrage robots do in ES or the treasuries especially, not a chance. Doing it in the 10-year, not a chance you're going to get it. By the way, corn taking off again today. And I keep seeing all these crazy moves in corn going all over the place. Bitcoin, meanwhile, is just chilling. Bitcoin hasn't done anything interesting today. Oh, well, that sure is interesting. And the treasuries did back up for us a little bit, but they didn't give us very much. Unfortunate. I'm looking at this, considering that we came down a solid 8 ticks or so. I'm surprised that you're only getting 10, 20 bucks over here. I'm betting you the treasuries probably continue to gently fall throughout the day, though. You think that the S&P 500 can get above the opening price before we have to go? That would be fun. Could be consolidation period now till 11 a.m. That's certainly possible too. Well, we have been in like the reversal time period. So from here forward, we can see what happens. You might see another leg here though. Wow, look at that. Look at that buy right there. They didn't break the top of the range, but they sure made a push. Yeah. That was a push. Wow. So let's come over here. I haven't really been watching Twitter nor listening to my news squawk. Nah, let's go to Zero Hedge and see if they got anything. Nothing personal, pal. Biden phones Ducey after calling him a stupid son of a bitch. Who bought the dip? Retail puked in the morning and panic bought in the afternoon. Hey, that's a good. I want to read that article. INF slashes global GDP growth to 4.4% in 2022, warns on aggressive Fed tightening. ARC changes how its innovation funds returns show on its website. The convenient change this year paints a rosier picture than how last year's returns were displayed. Yeah, I bet. JP Morgan trading desks odds not looking good for a continued bounce today. Well, if JP Morgan is saying that, maybe we should just ditch our. Well, they made a new high there, just there. But what's the open? Show me the open. Show me the. Oh, I don't have it marked anymore. Okay, so I'm gonna have to come and find it myself. It was somewhere around. Oh, it was actually somewhere around here. Okay. Well, let's take 35. I'm gonna get going soon, so now's a good time. Now's a good time. Every time that I leave it on after we're done streaming, it's just like I forget about it. So I should just take them off. Yay! Thank you, sir. Hey. Well, that's the first time in a long time that things have gone that well for me in the ES. I had that bad loser. Oh, no, I had some of it go in my favor. It went more than 2 ticks in my favor. Come on. Not 8,653 though. Hey, that's a good day for me. Of course, I had to use wait, how many contracts how many fills did I have? 8. That's 28, so 36. 44, 48, 50, 58. I had to use 58 contracts to do it. So what did we actually make? Hold on. Okay, so 653.75 divided by 58 contracts is $11 per contract. So I was catching about the rotation on average in each contract, which is actually like about what should happen with the way that I was doing it. Yeah. Hey, it's not bad. It's not bad. If it was less than the range, then I was going to be mad. Should have been more than that though. If that 700, if that first trade wasn't we had taken the profit on it initially or whatever, or cut it off a lot earlier, that we probably could have had double the profit per tick per contract. I'm not, that's another one. You know, this one that we don't talk about very often, but hey, if you're watching other people and they seem to have made like a really good trade or something, ask them what the profit per contract was. To take the number of fills. Well, it's not 58. It's actually the number of contracts is less than that, right? So the 58 divided by 2 is like 29, right? Okay, yeah, 29. So I have 653. 653 divided by 29 is $22 per contract. So you take the number of contracts that they used. So like if you get in with 2 contracts and you sell 1 contract and then you add a contract again and you get out with that contract, right? That is at that point, that's 3 contracts that you've used, right? So, or you can just take the number of fills divided by 2. So there'd be an entry and an exit for fills. Right. So the number of net contracts that you used, and then divide your profit by that, and that's the profit per contract. And that's one way that you can filter out some of the things that people do where it's like, yeah, they're taking this teeny, tiny little profit that basically might as well just be random. And then holding it up as like they're an amazing trader when the reality is that it's just noise, right? And that they weren't really making very much money per contract. You know, if we were to take that whole thing and just like in and out, maximize that per contract, yeah, that's where you get that's a good trade. Well, I don't think, well, maybe it's a little better. Maybe killing Docker did help. Maybe Docker was slowing my machine down. Of course, the S&P 500 is not nearly as insane as it was. And it's still a little... It's more responsive than it was, though. Captain Price says, I don't really care. I don't either. It didn't take any trades. I could have made a $30 trade in the micro treasuries. I was on it. I put some orders in. I didn't get filled. It was like the market maker was waiting for me. They're like, Seth, we know you're there. We're watching you. It's my buddies over at Goldman or something. Like, wait. Let Seth take a position before we let it go. And then I didn't take it, so they're like, all right, fine, Seth, we're gonna go without you. I told them they could go. It's fine. I missed the trade. I'm not gonna chase it today. Already would have been good though. Couple of good stories here to read. Why bear markets are tough. Yes, this is something that we all know, but I never see talked about. So I'm going to want to read that one too. But nothing really kind of giving us any idea what's going on or why we're seeing what we do. Short-term volatility in Bitcoin has been kind to the cross-swap spreaders. Easy to see why a majority of pro desks are basis tradings. No need to carry significant direction risk with so much edge consistently available, assuming you're sufficiently capitalized in Bitcoin. Yes. When do you wake up? I wake up at 5:30 a.m. my time. Nassim, beware who you follow. When we block a troll account, the bot will block all their followers for convenience. Could be unfair, but it cleans the feed considerably. The best way to gain followers on Twitter is to block noise accounts. Don't understand. I don't understand. Nassim should make a more of an online community. Like if there was like a community you could spend like $20 a month to get in, I would totally be down with that. In my country, the open is at 15:30. Very, very. Oh, really? That's interesting. Wow, over 19% of the Bitcoin network was in Kazakhstan. Jeez, that was all this morning in cryptocurrency. Barely moving today. TQQQ, never heard of it. Sorry, I'm not a very good person to ask for individual stocks, to be honest with you. A better question to ask would be like, I own a company that is in this industry. How do you think that interest rates might affect the industry, right? Oh, the US Open is 15:30. Oh yeah. I don't think I would enjoy trading at that time of day. I really like it being first thing in the morning. I really like it being first thing in the morning. Let's see here. Norio Rubini tweets. Bitcoin down 14% in the last day to below 9.5K. That was in July of 2019. Ouch, it must hurt to get wrecked so fast. Calling Bitcoin a currency, let alone thousands of other shitcoins, is a joke. They are not a unit of account. They are not a means of payments and no stable store of value. And now 2022, Bitcoin at 36K, down 50% from its November all-time high. So much for those who predicted that by now it would be at 100K, and it must be painful to be wrecked for all those retail suckers who bought in the frenzy when it was at 69K last fall. Well, whales dumped it. Yeah. And then Edward Snowden was tweeting that, oh no. Yeah, because he's just pointing out that in the long run that Bitcoin continues to go up. Let me tell you something. What's going to happen? What will happen? How will people react if a Bitcoin didn't recover? Right? And telling you, it's a possibility someday. Bitcoin reaches could have happened this round. Like seriously, if it was not for Tether, they would have failed 20K and come back down, and that would have been that. And if you get like so you have a high, and then a crypto bear market for like 2 years, and then another bull push, and that bull push fizzles out before getting to a new all-time high, that would be the end of it right there, right? Why would anybody be in it anymore at that point? Just saying. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Brannigan Barrett is betting on gold failing here. That I think depends very greatly on what the inflation numbers say next. Well, it's time for me to get going, guys. You think Tesla will go up because of their earnings? They always outperform. I don't know. It's the big thing that I would look for there is what their forward guidance is. That seems to be the thing that's been affecting companies the most. So markets as Fed starts FOMC meeting. Hey guys, I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's a big day. I got to get going. So in the meantime, stay profitable, friends.